Hi everybody, welcome back to Children Matter. You're here with Katie-Jayne. Jimmy the Hat's going to be joining us shortly, but while we build up the numbers first, basically wanted to give a quick intro myself to what this live's going to be about. So as a lot of people are aware, some are not, but a lot of people are, around the times of my kids' birthdays, I always throw a demo for the children. You know, children is in its entirety, children and country, because I mean that's what we're fighting for, not just them now, but their future. And the last demo we did was the 14th of March up at Manchester Piccadilly Gardens. And yeah, that was I did that personally for my daughter. My daughter's birthday was on the 24th. It wasn't, you wouldn't have been able to tell it was for my daughter because it was only a personal thing, but putting it together for the children. I will get my bearings, bear with me. I'm just running on how many different platforms? 2, 4, 6, 7 different platforms. So I am juggling everything around at the same time, so I do apologise. I am going to get everything up so that I can see comments as well, so I do apologise. If I do jump back and forth a little bit, it's just because I do need to get everything up and ready, so that it's all prepared and ready to go. Let me just pull it up, VK up on my phone, and we're started. Hello, Eric over on VK. I hope you're well. I've got to pull it up on Facebook as well, so bear with me for 2 seconds. Yeah, so while I ramble on for a bit and bear a bit of time, let people get in, and I pull everything up on the actual screen so I can see everything. I'm just going to ramble on a bit anyway. So my son's birthday is the 13th of September. So last year, on the 14th of September, we actually started a camp out. It was supposed to be a 30-day camp out. Obviously, shit didn't go to plan that time, but we did do the camp out there. On both occasions where we've done something up here at Swinton Town Hall, so both in July last year and in September last year. Yeah, both last year. So I'm still trying to pull everything up, so I do apologise. You're going to hear it in the background, so for a second, I apologise. I might have got it off as well. I see Tracy's over on Facebook. Hi, Tracy. I hope you're well. Oh, everything's popping up. Hello, Western Woman, John Rankin, Robert Blakes, Michael Richmond. Perfect. And Rachel as well. Hi. So we're putting a demo together on the 17th of September. Yes, I know it's a while. 17th of September, sorry, 19th of September. Yes, I know it's a while away. We've got a lot of planning to do. We were hoping to get a load of speakers in so that we can, make a decent day of it. Yes, we are hitting it on a weekend. The building, Swinton Town Hall, where we'll be hitting, yes, there is people in there that are in there 24/7 that do live in that building. It is a 24-hour occupied building. And both times we've been there, we have had girls turn up. Obviously, last year, September, we had a girl called Jodie turn up. She was 15 at the time. Sorry, bear with me. Sorry. Because Jimmy's coming on, he's just asked if I've sent the link yet, but I've not sent the link just yet, just because I want to give my introduction first. So I do apologise, Jimmy. But yeah, so the girl turned up. She was 15 years old at the time. She'd been forcibly adopted at the age of 8. She'd been abused by her adopter since, and social services had done nothing but ignore her. She did do a video, which I am going to play for everyone. So what I'm going to do is, so that there's not, everyone's not waiting around ages to see the video, I'm going to play the video, and I'm going to invite Jimmy in while the video is playing. She is 16 now. She did do this video off her own back. She did share it everywhere, and she did want it going out. So I am going to play it for everyone. Awesome, John. So yeah, I'm going to pop out of the background. I'm going to pop into the background, sorry. I'm going to play this video, and I'm going to let you hear from her herself what she's been going through. She is from my local town. This is the same social services that took my kids and targeted me. So it hits home a lot. I know this girl personally. Like she came to us at the demo. She's absolutely amazing lass, especially for her age, and she's so strong. So I'm gonna share. Western Woman's asking where the demo is. What I'll do is, actually, I'll put it up on the screen now just so you can see. The poster is going around everywhere as well. So it's going to be on the 19th of September at Swinton Town Hall in Manchester. So it's in Salford. Obviously, the postcode's on there as well. I will be putting it up on the YouTube channel, so you'll be able to see it actually on there as well. You'll be able to rewind and see this. So I'm going to put the video on. My
name is Jodie. I'm 15 years old and I'm a victim of abuse and sexual assault in an adoptive care placement. It all started 3 years ago when the abuse from my adoptive parents, Frank and Jane Lindsay, started when Frank started throwing me down the stairs and punching me in the face when I didn't do what I was told, even though I did. So 9 years ago, I got taken away from my biological parents that lived in Salford. I got taken from them through neglect, but there was no abuse or sexual assault within their relationships with me as a child. And I got put into this placement with Frank and Jane Lindsay that live at Woodleys, Tong Street in Kersley. The postcode, if you ask in the comments below, then I'm sure I will pass it on to you. They are both, my adoptive dad is called Frank Lindsay, he is now 70 years old. And my adoptive mum is called Jane Lindsay, she's now 56 years old. And when I first got put into this placement, everything was all well and good until the first night. The first night, I was playing around and I was playing with my older brother, who's now 16, called Matthew Lindsay, who gets no abuse now that he's turned 16, as he is allowed to pay for his own things and he can afford that money. But before then, he did get abused just like me. So on the first night, I fell over.
just to make sure, guys, can everyone hear this? Because John's saying there's no sound. Let me see if I can. Might have missed something. Volume's not great. I don't think there's not really much I can do about the volume, unfortunately. Is it manageable? I mean, let me know if it's manageable.
Onto a metal horse that my adopters did have in the living room, and I sat and sobbed because Frank came over to me and threw a punch at me and then basically just left me on the floor crying. For the next 2 weeks I had a black eye and I was in a lot of pain. I was screaming for help. I asked for my social worker. They would not get my social worker. I did report this to my social worker and I next seen her, but she said that the abuse will die down. And I said that I wanted to leave. I wanted my dad and I wanted my mum back, but they wouldn't let me. And then after that, the alcohol started. There's been a lot of drinking. There's 4 bottles of wine each per night. Plus, then my dad starts to drink whiskey, and my mum goes on to like vodka and things like that too. She says it helps with her stress, and I don't believe that. I believe that she does it because she's an alcoholic. They both do it because they are alcoholics, and that scares me a lot. Yeah, so, and then 3 years ago, the real abuse started when I came home from school one night. Everything was different. The anger was a lot worse. The pain that I was suffering from this abuse got a lot worse, and the sexual assault started from Frank. He started walking in on me while I was getting changed and saying how good I looked and while I was getting changed. And then he basically kept walking on me in the shower, and um, then my adoptive mum, Jane Lindsay, used to just close the door behind the sexual assault and say she cannot report what she cannot see. And this started to hurt a lot. And the abuse started to get a lot worse from then because I've been in hospital for self-harming because he's told me to self-harm, otherwise he'll do it himself, and I'd rather go through the pain of me doing it myself instead of other people. And he's thrown me down the stairs, he's beat me, I called the police, they left me at home, social services are doing nothing to help it. And we did foster another little boy 2 years ago called Ryan, and he was in the care system for Salford. He got put with us, and he came into my room every single night crying for help because my dad was going upstairs assaulting him. I rung the police and I told them what was going on. They would not help. They said to me that there is no evidence, even though he came out with lumps and bruises everywhere. I was the only one that was protecting him. When his social worker turned up to take him away, because my adoptive dad, Frank Lindsay, said that he didn't want him anymore. So I told the social worker what was going on behind closed doors. She would not have it. She was saying that I am his legal daughter. I am not his legal daughter. And she was saying that I had to stay. I wanted to leave. I had to stay. And then my adoptive mum Jane started then with her verbal and physical abuse towards me. I've ended up with scars on my hip, my knees, my shins, my arms, everywhere I have scars. I even have them on my face due to being cut with like anything from needles to knives. I also have begged for help from social services and the police. I've reached out to family members, they will not help, and the abuse starts to get worse, and people don't understand that behind closed doors, Frank and Jane are extremely violent. They act as if they are not, but they are. Um, I ended up with a broken wrist when I was only in year six, and I went to the hospital because I was in Wales at the time. I got taken to the hospital, and I had to lie and say I fell off my bike. I didn't fall off my bike. My dad had thrown me out the caravan, dived on me, and threw my bike at me. It broke my wrist in half. I had to have a metal bar through my wrist for 2 months because of this. And it's from that day on I realised I needed to leave and I wasn't safe. I've had 8 assault charges against me in the past 6 weeks, but I haven't even been at home to assault anybody, so it could not have been me. I've reported both Frank and Jane for assault. The police will not pursue these charges, even against my wishes. They will not go ahead with them. I then had to keep running away because the abuse was getting worse and worse. I ended up with a black eye for 2 weeks due to my mum elbowing me in the face. I have photo evidence of the lumps, and nobody will do anything to help support me. My dad, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago now, we was in Benidorm, just me and Frank, and I was in the shower and he come in, and I turned and looked at him and I said, "Please get out, I'm trying to shower alone." And he said, "Oh, look how good you look." And I turned away. I could not look at him. I was physically being sick in the shower because I couldn't stand the sight of him. He come behind me in the shower and started washing my hair and saying, "Oh, I bet you like that." And I said, "No, please leave." And he started rubbing it in sexually, saying, "Oh, I wish you was my age." And I said, "Get out now." And then I had to run out of the shower to get away from him. I put clothes on and I ran downstairs and I left. I just left the building completely. Later that night, I'd seen my dad wandering round near me, and he come over, he grabbed my arm, dragged me back to the hotel room. From there, he threw me down on the bed and said that if I didn't let him do it, then he would force to do it. And that's when he started. And he undressed me and then raped me. And I need my story to be told. And no matter how hard it is for me to understand why they're doing this, they cannot get away with it for any longer. I kept this very quiet and nobody else knows about it until now. I've found the courage to speak out because I cannot stand any more abuse. I have been in and out of hospital for injuries, for medical checks, and they've left me at that address. Later on that week, when we went home, I tried to tell my mum, and she just sort of ignored me and said, I wasn't there, I cannot report what I cannot see. And then that's when she grabbed my hair and threw me out of the door. And then from that day, she did not let me back in the house until 2:45 in the morning. I sat on the doorstep crying, begging to go back into that house because I wanted to sleep. I was desperate because I had nowhere else to go. And then I kept having to run away because of the abuse that was going on, both mentally and physically. They were abusing me. I've 2 weeks ago, my dad threw me down on my bed again, and he cut into my foot the letter D. He said to me as he was cutting it, "You will never forget the pain you've been through. I will always be here." And I said to him, "Get off me now." I kicked him to get him off. He carried on cutting. My adoptive mum Jane come in, pinned my arms down so I could not lash out. And Matthew, my brother, then come in as well, grabbed my knees, pinned my knees to the bed, and let him cut. They said that it was the best thing for me. I cannot leave that house. So after they'd done it, they'd shut my room and they locked the doors, like the front doors, the back door, the French doors, every single door, so I could not leave. I found my window key because my bedroom is downstairs. Found my window key, unlocked my window, climbed out the window and ran. I was trying to save my own life, and people do not understand that if it weren't for people that I met, I would be dead. And the abuse is hard to put up with, and each day I go through reliving what I went through. But now I realise I'm out of that situation and I am never going back. The police have done nothing to help. The amount of times they've come to my house to assess what the situation is that's going on because I've reported the abuse, and it has always been changed back onto me. I am the apparent abuser when I've not touched them, and I am the one with the charges against my name when I'm not the one that has been hitting them. They have been abusing me. I've been on crutches twice because my adoptive dad, Frank, has thrown me down the stairs and I've dislocated my hip. I have scars on my knees from when I was little. He kept pushing me off my bike, saying, "Move. You don't deserve to be happy. This is our life, not yours." I've had constant money taken off me. I had £3,000 put into my bank when I was 13 by my granddad, who sadly passed away, and now I only have £1,000 left because they have stolen £2,000 off me. Frank walks in on me no matter how undressed I am. He will walk in, he will click his fingers as he's coming through the door, he will whistle at me. He's a complete paedophile and nobody listens. That's why I didn't tell my story fully until now. My story needs to be told and it needs to be heard because we need to stop this from happening again. For 3 years, I have put up with the abuse and the neglect. Now, when I was 6 years old, I got taken away from my biological family, and I was in contact with them for about a year, and then I got told you cannot see your family again. I asked and questioned every year since I was 7 years old, why can I not see them? and I got told that they didn't want to see me. And I got reunited with my oldest biological brother 3 days ago now, and the love was still there, the connection was there, and I miss every single one of them. I've been on the phone to my biological dad, my uncle, my nana, my granddad, and I've seen my other brother, and they're all saying, "You need to get out of there. You cannot stay. You can stay with us. You are safe." They've always said that they love me. My dad also admitted to me that there have been charges against him about sexual assault when I've told the police it is not him that's done it, it is Frank Lindsay that is the one that's been abusing and sexually assaulting me. I have told them numerous times that the charges are not real. Frank and Jane Lindsay have been putting false reports into the police about sexual abuse when I was a child. I have apparently been 3 years old and sexually abused by my dad. I have been 4 years, 5 years old when my oldest brother has been sexually abusing me, but that never happened. And social services have told me that that is what happened, and it is not what happened. I have legal documents with at home that that my adoptive parents will not give me. I had a life letter from my social worker for my biological family. I have not been given that. My brother has, I haven't. And each time I think of that, I think, why am I not being given it? There's something that they are hiding about my past that they do not want me to know. I know right now that my biological family did not abuse me. There was some neglect, but no abuse at all. I have been lied to, I have been deceived, and I have been abused. I have also been raped, and I took that no further, but now it needs to happen. Each each morning I wake up for school. I get up as late as possible, so then as soon as I'm ready I can leave the house. I'm scared to be in that house. I will not sit at the same table as them. I will not sit in the same room as them. That's all through fear. I walk through the door when I get home from school, and I run into my room, shut the door, and sit in my room. I am always on the lookout for what they do. I had I have a phone on and off. Like, I get it taken off me all the time. I get it back, I get it taken, I get it back. That's because he doesn't want me to record the abuse. He has admitted this, and he has admitted it in front of me, Jane, and Matthew, but he will not admit it to the police. I have tried to tell them, they will not listen. My real dad has also told me that he got told that I didn't want to see him, when that is completely not true. And each year he said that he was trying to fight for me back. He took it to court, which I never got told about. He took the case to court. He wanted me and my brothers and sisters back, but they would not hear him out. They said because of the charges he was not allowed to see us, but the charges were fake. I have been on the phone to my dad, and I've explained to him that I never made a single charge against him. I was trying to fight to get him back. And I've explained to him about the abuse, the sexual assault, and he said he knew there was something wrong the first time he seen me in contact. He said, "You were miserable and you've always been happy." He said, "I saw the fear in your eyes when you had to leave." And I fear for my own life. I really do. I cannot go back to that address at all. I cannot look at Jane and Franklin's in the eyes without gagging. I cannot be left alone in that house. I do not want to go home, and if I do get taken home, I will run again because I fear for my own life. I fear for my life and I fear for my brother's life. Even though he does not get abused, he could still get abused in the future. I need my story out there, and I need all the support I can get to prevent me from going back to that address. He could still get abused. I want the courts to hear me out. I want the police to hear me out, and I want social services to hear me out. I cannot live with a bunch of people that abuse me. Yes, I get what I want most of the time, but that's because I agree to what they do. And Frank Lindsay has not only raped me once, but he's done it twice. Once when I was only 8 years old. And I remember that day like it was yesterday, because he was telling me that in 10 years' time, you will only want your dad. And I said, you are not my dad, you never will be. And this was me at 8 years old, screaming for help, crying for help. I couldn't tell a soul, because then the week later he held a knife to my throat and said, your social worker is coming. Speak a word, you die. And from that day on, I silenced everything. I've silenced the abuse for 3 years. I've silenced the sexual assault since I was 8. I am now 15. I can't live knowing that Frank and Jane Lindsay are out on the streets. They could be preying on younger children, and I was one of them. They were in for the fostering for money. I know they were. They've admitted that, and they then took it to abuse because they stopped getting the money. The alcohol abuse has been going on for the past 5 to 6 years. They spend all their money on alcohol. They store it away when people come, and they get it back out as soon as they leave. I've had bottles thrown at me. I've had glasses thrown at me. I've had everything. And the abuse that I've suffered is now what's leading me to the future. My future could be ruined due to my past, but I'm not going to let that stop me from doing what is right. I have rights. I have the right to live with my real dad. I have the right to see my biological parents, but I get told I can't. I get told that the abuse will stop. It never stops. For 3 years I've reported, and I have photos of all the injuries, but no, they deleted them from the memory card, gave my phone to the police. The police have said there's nothing there. Every day for the past 3 years, I've been abused. Every day since I was 8, I've been sexually assaulted and raped twice in my life. How can a 15-year-old suffer from their abuse like me? People are sick, and it shows when I have to be scared to go home after school, before school, anytime. My abuse then gets worse. When the abuse started getting more violent 3 years ago, I started getting messages, started getting phone calls from Frank Lindsay's friends saying, keep my mouth shut, we are watching, we are after you. And I got jumped on the 15th of September 2 years ago. So that was 2017 on the 15th of September. I was walking home from school, and it was dark because I'd stayed for revision. I'd stayed at my friend's house for tea because I was scared to go home. I was walking up the back alley near my house and I noticed there was 4 men round the corner. I avoided the back alley and they dragged me back to the alley. I ran for my life. I rang the police, they cut the call off. The police did not answer when I screamed. The 3 men I did not recognise, but I recognised the one in the van across the road. I screamed for help. A woman came to her back gate where I was, asked, "Is everything okay?" They had a knife to my back, ducked behind the fence. I had to say I was fine. I had bruises, cuts, everything. I had a cut behind my ear and a cut along my face here. I've got one there and one underneath my nose from the injuries I suffered. I tell people that I am fine because I get threats. That night, I was sexually assaulted by 4 grown men in the back of a van. They didn't rape me, they did touch me, and they did insert their fingers. They did assault me in ways that I will never forget. And then they said, as I tried to leave the van, they said, "Frank is a good man. You will never forget the pain you've suffered because he is a good man." And I didn't go into school for 2 months. I missed my friends and I missed my family the most. I reached out for help. Nobody would help me. I had to stay in the house day in, day out, and I got tortured in the house. I got told that what happened was for the benefit of myself. He knew about the abuse. He knew what happened that night, and how did he know if he didn't set it up? And the police have been given this information. They haven't been told about the 4 men. They have been told that my dad sets things up. They have been told about the abuse and sexual abuse he gives me. They haven't been told about the rape because they don't believe the abuse in the first place. Where would that get me? That would get me into a care home. I do not want to be in a care home. But I wanted to do this video to tell my story to people. Even though I'm adopted, I still get abused, raped, sexually abused. And through that, you have to stay strong. And for anybody else that is in foster care, adoption, anything like that, or even if it's just at home, you need to get help if this is happening to you. You need to get out of that house. You need to get out of the situation you are in. And I want to fully support everybody that is going through it because I've been through it for 3 years. I have injuries, scars, mental scars of what's gone on. I got put into CAMS 3 times to try to explain what's going on. They would not listen. It was an hour-long session each time. I went at least 30 times, did not get my voice heard. My story needs to be told. And otherwise, my abuse will get worse. The torture will get worse and my future will not be worth living. And I've had suicidal thoughts in the past because Frank Lindsay has told me to kill myself because I would not listen to what he said. He asked me to have sex with him. I said no. He said, "Go and jump off the balcony on holiday." And he then took my phone because he realised I was recording the conversation. The police have said they have no authority to check the phone because he's took the memory card out. I have been asked by his friends what goes on behind closed doors. I've tried to explain. I've been beaten that far that my head nearly got stomped on the curb by Frank Lindsay. Jane Lindsay pulled Frank off me to say, "You will kill her, you will get arrested." He said, "She is worth the arrest. She disgusts me." I am the victim. I am not the one I am the one trying to prevent the crimes. I am not the one committing the crimes. It gets twisted every time. Social services cover up my story. They will log what's gone on. They will twist my words. They will say I'm not in danger. I am in so much danger. That's why I need help and I need support. I need my video to go live. I need it to go global because then we might get heard. There are other people in this situation and I don't want theirs to get as bad as this. There are some that are as bad as this and that are worse than this. They need a voice. I am saying this to all the watchers of this video and every single person that will hear this video. I need to get out of that house. I cannot be sent back because I will get killed. There have been death threats over the past 5 days. 5 days ago, I rung my dad. I said to him, I rung Frank Lindsay, not my dad, Frank Lindsay, and said to him where I was and said I'm staying out for a few nights while things calm down. I had no intention of going home. He knew that. He said, "I will hunt you down. I will kill you." I am petrified to go back anywhere near that house. People cannot let this happen. I need my voice to be heard because if I do get sent back to that house, I'm being put in danger. I get put in danger every single day. I've been put in danger every single day, and it will happen again. I know it will. We need to be heard. My brother needs to be saved from that house too. I am living on the life of knowing that my brother could not be safe living at that house while I am not there. They may turn the anger on him now that I have left, and I'm scared. I don't want to go back. I cannot be sent back. I refuse. And my brother is there. He's 16 and his name is Matthew Lindsay. He needs to get out of that address. The address is in Kersley. It is Woodleys, Tongue Street, off Slacky Brow. We need to get him out. We need to be safe. And I can't stress enough how much I'm saying I am never, ever going to let anybody take me back to that address, ever. And I need support behind me to do that. So I just want to say thank you for watching this video, and I will try my best to keep strong and keep trying to get more support with what I'm trying to do. And the abuse has been bad. It really has. But I want my story to be heard and I want it to be listened to because I want other people to be safe. I want to be safe. We cannot let this happen again. So please, please, please get the help we need. I need help. My brother needs help. The family of people that I am now with need support with this video. So please share it. Thank you.
Oh. Give me a minute. Hi, Jimmy.
All right, Katie.
So the reason we did this
Just
live.
listen to it again.
Pardon?
I said it's just hearing it again. We heard it a few months ago. You know, at that time, young Jodie, she was under 16, still at school. As we all know now, Turn the age
School actually around the
16.
corner from where I live. School's actually walking distance.
She's also legally left school. You've heard what she's saying? That was a young Woody. She said she wants a story out. She wants us to share it. We didn't. We've not said nothing for months because she was legally. She's a minor. She's under 16 years of age. She's not anymore. She's not anymore under 16.
No.
In fact, she's
So
open.
I'm trying really hard to stay composed because Jodie was like a kid to me. You know, I was the one who took her to meet a biological brother for the first time in about 8 years. You know what I mean? She's...
Yeah, we had to be very careful because she was under 16, but she's not under 16 anymore. In fact, she's legally old enough to get married if you've got parents consent. She's legally on the army with parents.
1 minute, Jimmy, signal's jumping.
Got it. How is it now?
It's a bit better. How close are you to your internet?
Close, but it's all got in. It's also in the phone as well. So if it went funny, it'd switch to that. So we've not said anything for because we couldn't. As I say, she's under 16. Now, honestly, if Jodie's out there and she needs our help, we'll do it. And there's enough of us to start sorting out some money to get her lodgings and food and make sure she's safe and nothing happens to her again. As she said there, by the way, her father, this wasn't the greatest parents, never touched her sexually. She's never made an accusation. Nothing to do with her natural father. Nothing to do. She said that. She said it on film, under no threat, sat on her own and made a testament of what's going on.
I mean, people need to realise as well that she didn't do this for attention. She did this because every single time she's turned to the authorities before, social services or to the police, they've sent her back there to keep her quiet. The only way that she had to ensure that she didn't go back to that address was by doing that video. And as far as we were aware, she got kept away from that address and away from them. I know that the last time we spoke to her, they dropped all charges against the adopters, and they were looking at sending her back there. But as far as I was aware, they never got the chance to send her back there. But we don't know.
But as I say, that's her testament. It was hard to hear, and I've heard it before. And what saying,
Jimmy, how do you think I felt? She wanted me to be the first to see it, and she wanted to sit with me while she said it. She never said the word rape at any point when she was talking to us beforehand. She explained it. But she always dotted around using the actual word because she never wanted to accept that that's what happened. And that video was actually the first time where she said it. No one encouraged her, no one did nothing, but she was adamant that she wanted to sit with me while we did it. I watched it.
Been raped at least twice. She's certainly been sexually assaulted. When she's getting a shower and she starts naked and a grown man's in there combing her hair. And what she also said, things happened since she was a pre-teen. Pre-teen, everyone.
Rachel's just put in the comments. So what? When their children under 16, people can't speak for them. Heartbreaking. That's when they need us. At 100%. We were trying our absolute hardest to keep her safe, to do everything. I mean, a lot of the team can tell you we were fighting tooth and nail to find any way where I could adopt her, because we asked her, "What do you want? What can we do?" And we tried our hardest to get her back to the biological family, but because of the accusations the police and social kept throwing at them, made it impossible. And she wanted to come here as a next resort. So we were trying everything to get residency so she could stay here at least till she was 16. But they've had our hands tied for a good few months now since we met her. One of the admin actually got given an abduction notice for trying to keep her safe. So it was a very difficult situation, and with people looking for her, it wasn't exactly something realistic to get her out of the town. And it wasn't within our power to do that anyway, not within law.
Could do nothing. They could have us for kidnapping a minor.
100%.
Serious offence. Trouble. We're in big trouble. I wish we could have helped, I wanted to help, but under 16, they could have you. If you took a under 16, you could have you for kidnapping a minor. She's in the
100%.
care of him. But this girl is legally at school. She's 16 now. She can legally get married with her mother's consent or father's. She can legally join the army. She can legally give permission for everything.
The only difficulty we're going to have is the adoption clause, because she was adopted. So technically, until she's 18, she's their property. But she is given a hell of a lot more rights as soon as she turns 16. But again, it's one of them. Until she comes back to us, our hands are still tied.
Yeah, if Jodie's out there and she's watching, and she wants us to shut our mouths, Jodie will shut our mouth. Honest to God.
No, she knows our channel. She knows everything. She knows how to get in touch with us. She knows how to get to my house without a sat nav. She knows, what she needs to do, where she needs to go. It's just, we do not know where they put her and what abilities that she's got. But that's one of the reasons why we're doing the demo in September, and we're doing it close to date as what we can from the demo last year, because that's the demo that she turned up to. Same place, same month. And it's not just even Joda. We had her name was Shannon, was the 16-year-old who turned up July last year to the demo in the same place.
Yep.
Different time, but same place.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jimmy.
I'm just saying, as she said, social services put her back in there time and again. They did nothing. We all know we were sick of hearing that. We know that with Carol Woods, the whistleblower, level 3 social worker. We know what they do. We know with old Daniel Boone.
Milburn.
Milburn. Daniel Milburn. And we're visiting you again, by the way, because that demo she was saying, 19th of September, we're on our way back to Swinton Town Hall.
And we've got some history there as well. A lot of the Manchester have got history there as well. Not just the Manchester lot. Bobby and Joseph Blair has some history there as well. When we were there in July, nice summer, we had some amazing loudspeakers there and some amazing speakers as well.
We did.
And while we had victims and survivors up speaking, I use the word victims, and I know people say victims, they're not the survivors. We did have that 16-year-old Shannon turn up, who is a victim. She is still being victimized, was still being victimized at the time, so she was still a victim. And survivors speaking up. And when we were talking about our abuse, you had the entire council stood in the massive window on the balcony, taking pictures and videos and laughing at us. And it set a couple of people off on the vendetta of, right, well, we'll be back, and we'll be back with more people. And then in September, the demo after the one where they were laughing at us, that's when we come across Joda, the 15-year-old, who came up to us, broke down crying, and told me and Joseph Blair what had been going on. And obviously, due to her being underage and being a female, I took control over the situation and talking to the police and everything. And she bonded to me as well. We both have a similar upbringing. We're both, there wasn't that much difference between us apart from the fact our age and where our abuse happened. Obviously, I didn't go into my abuse with her because she's underage, but I was someone that was there just to talk to and to make her feel comfortable, not to push her into doing anything or saying anything, or even going into detail about anything. I was just there to listen. That was it. And we tried every avenue we could do to get her safe with someone away from that adoptive family and away from the state. When she went into care, after we got involved the first time, they put her into a care system a couple of days or a week later. And she was being abused and bullied in the home that she was in, where girls were watching her get undressed. The workers were confiscating her phones off her and any devices off her, and she was being pushed around and punched. So, it's something that it did continue within the care system. And she went running away again, and she came to one of the admin, not far from me. That was only my phone doesn't accept private numbers, to be fair, but yeah. Sorry.
As they use in the grooming gangs, as they use in the children's homes, and as the foster parents who do this sort of thing, there is some good foster parents. Just happens these sound like right ones. What did she say they use? Threats, violence. What they'll do? They threat to kill her. This is one of the threats that these paedophiles use to control the children.
Phil's just put in the comments, she can leave any time. I've been in the care system as long as she can prove she can look after herself. I mean, I get that from your point. I get that as well, because I was in the care system and I could leave as soon as I turned 18. I was actually allowed to leave. But it's when you're going into the area of adoption where it's a sale. They've actually bought technically a product from the system, which is, in this case, Joda. So they have legal control over her. So, for example, like Jimmy said, that she'd be able to get married now with mum and dad's consent. She'd need the adoptive parents' consent, not birth parents. Birth parents would still be invalid. When it comes to adoption, and especially when it comes to someone who's openly out in their abuse and wants to out their abuse and get, justice for it, because she wants them to be prosecuted. She wants them to suffer the consequences of what they've done, and rightly so. And from being involved with it back then, they did do absolutely everything they could to keep putting her back in that situation so that she couldn't say anything. By the time she'd be old enough to say anything, it'd be, nothing.
See, my understanding of the law would be at 16, if they could prove they've got somewhere safe to stay, they wouldn't touch him. But I believe 99% of the time, if they're 16 and they sling their up, they won't bother. They don't bother. I know she's in, with her being cared, they probably would check up if she got somewhere to stay. If she's at her age now, if she was somewhere safe, so I'm safe here, I'm 16, and I want to stay, I didn't do anything about it. Normally at 16, if you ran off, if my lad came 16, well, I mean, they're well older than that now, and he ran off and went to London, technically, I think the police would go, we'll have a little scan, but they won't be that bothered because he's 16. They won't bother. But good to be in the care, I think they would check, is she living in, she got a roof, but she's a lot better condition now as a 16-year-old, and we can help her a lot more now as a 16-year-old. We couldn't to do nothing at 15.
100%.
You go like that, you kidnapped a minor. Just stick it on you. You're remanded in jail. You go to prison. What for? This guy kidnapping a minor. You've had it.
Thing is, I mean, the two girls that we've come across, they're not even the first people that we've come across, though, at Swinton Town Hall on a demo. Do you remember the group of lads that came up when me, you, and Jill were
Yep,
basically,
I was there.
Yeah. One of the kids turned around and said actually that his sister had been taken, and that she was in care.
That was at Swinton Town Hall near the social services. I was there. I remember.
Because those kids now, every time they see me walking around the street, they always ask if I've got stickers to put up.
That's what they use threatening. And this is under 16. They know they're not scared to go near them. And you've got to be right to be, because if they want to go for you and stick something on you with them being under 16, you're in big trouble. You're in massive trouble. So I stayed away. As much as I wanted to help, I was, frightened to death. But at 16, you can help her. And if she needs help, I'm sure we can. And there's enough of us about, to make sure she'll be somewhere safe, and there'll be money for her for food, electric and gas. We'll pay for all that. It'll all be sorted. But she'll be safe. If she's still worried at her age now, I'm quite sure we can sort something out for her. Because she's 16.
I mean, she knows as well that she's got a room here. She knows that she's always welcome here. As far as I'm concerned, she's family.
She's got a safe house. She's 16. She's legal to as long as she's got somewhere to stay, she's got to live with it. I'm sure there's plenty of us that can put a couple of quid every single week to make sure there's enough she's paying for the gas, clothing, toiletries. She'll be sound.
Speaking of clothing, Jodie has 2 items of very distinctive clothing, which I know because she got them from me. She has got a purple hoodie like what you've got, and it's got "Families Destroyed by the State" on it, which is our old name, what we evolved from. It's now our tagline. And she's also got funky leggings, because everyone knows what I'm like with my leggings, black, red, and white ones, which are like kind of squared pattern. Yeah. But yeah, and she's got a very long, distinctive hair as well, Jodie. That's what everyone needs to remember. Jodie's hair does go right down her back. She has got very distinctive long hair.
At 15, we had to listen to that story, the testimony of a young Jodie. And you know what? I felt so powerless. It was unbelievable. I can do nothing. I daren't go near her. She's a minor. She's legally classed as a minor. If they wanted to do, they could easily stick on You have kidnapped a child, a minor. We're only arresting you. We're going to charge you, and do it. It's just what they do, and even remand you in jail for it.
Well, this is the thing. This is why we're putting this together now, because I mean, she's just turned 16 last month, and obviously the last. Pardon?
She's left school legally. If her age is July, she left school. This one is July. I know they've not been in since January, but if she's in year 11, she's finished school now. She's legally left.
Well, it depends how COVID goes through, doesn't it? Because they're looking at moving a lot of people back.
Yeah, I don't think there's any law. Officially, she's done. Let's put it that way. Still, she's left school now. They're giving them GCSEs for nothing. But what I'm saying is, she's not 15. She's 16. She's legally left school. She's legally old enough with parents' consent to get married, to join the British Army. This girl needs help. We can help her now. Once she shows I've got a roof over my head, have you got somewhere to stay? Yeah.
Oh, that's a very big message. Sorry, darling. I'll have to put that up in a bit because it's a bit of a big message, that one. Sorry. Amanda said, my 13-year-old was abused in a care home and I abused by 3 separate people. I told his key worker nothing was done. He returned home to me, told me everything. The police treated him like the predator. One girl's already been charged. The other 2, well, I don't know, as police haven't heard from them since March, and the social worker have lied on several occasions. I will get justice for my son, just haven't a clue where to start. Well, speaking out is the good start.
This stays with us life. I've just opened real survivors stuff. And I got a mate of mine. I got hold of him today. And I said, you did it for the very first time in his life. He did a testimony like that. A grown man. And he put his story, he was crying his eyes out. Do you mind if I put it out? You can find it. And I found it eventually. And I put it out. And he wrote to me and said, thank you so much.
Jimmy, just quickly. Can you are you not covering the mic, are you?
No.
All right, just making sure. That's better.
Right.
Sorry.
And he thanked me. I thank you. Because if it wasn't for survivors who have the courage to talk about what they're doing, can you imagine a young man having to say that he was raped? In his case, it was a family friend. And it's amazing how they trick their way in. The same thing after Threats. 12 years old. Raped. If you go on my new page, Real Survivors Stories on Facebook, on there, a lot of men. People you've never even heard of. I'd not heard of till I found them. George and Bobby Blair's on there. My mate's on there. It's horrendous what's happening. And we've just heard Jodie's testimony. That's the young girl sat on her own, talking to the camera. Blah, blah, blah. She may not want out. If she gets in contact with Katie and says, please take it down. I don't want it to go any further. I don't want to talk about it no more. Down it comes.
She has the ability to take it down herself, to be fair, as well. But right. She knows that she can. All she has to do is just say the word, and it'll be gone. Yeah, it's the way it's always been.
I've been told by people before, I put stuff up and they said, please take it down, don't want it out. Down it comes. Down it comes. Not to hurt anyone's life. I'm just saying, now she's 16. If she needs help and it's legal, she can get under a roof, and she needs money. There's plenty of us where we can all chip in, and she'll be sound for gas, electric, plenty of food, plenty of clothes. She won't for now. She won't be no millionaire, but she'll be sound. She won't have to go to bed thinking, I'm going to get a shower. And she's told you on there, and things like that happening to her. No, that's over, mate. It's over. Because I believe she can legally do it now, but we couldn't when she's 50. We had to stand back. It's horrible when to stand back knowing what's going on. You do it, please.
There's 2 more videos. There's 2 more videos that I want to show people. They're not of Joda, but yeah, well, these are personal videos to me, so I do want to share them with you anyway. But seeing as we're on about the Swinton Town Hall, seeing as we're on about Swinton Social Services, or better known Salford Social Services, I wanted to introduce people. You'll already know them, Jimmy, so I do apologise.
No, don't.
They're both.
You got to keep it every so often to get it.
They're both 1-minute videos.
Right. Let the people see it.
Yeah. I do want to share these with everyone as well, just for the blatant fact how these are separate videos, 2 different kids, both my kids, but who were also targeted by Swinton Town Hall and by Salford Social Services, the exact same ones that obviously Jodie's been suffering with. I hate when it does that because I can't see. Thank you. So yeah, that's one of them anyway.
Yeah.
But after listening to Jodie, we need to have a smile about something, even though it is a fucking still tragic story and still a tragic outcome. Like, these are the kids that we're doing it for, especially when we go into this exact town hall. When my computer decides. Sorry?
I was just saying to him, we are heading back to Swinton Town Hall via Social Services Department. 19th of September. It's on. We've already got speakers. We're already sorting them out. And we've got a big speaker. Hopefully we get a better one. But there'll be megaphones there. And there's already a big speaker, because I've got one. That's going to be there. People will be speaking. If I've got to speak 4 times, I'll speak about Melanie Shaw, Carol Woods, Ellie Williams, Charlene Downs, Victoria Gola. The list just goes on and on and on. So I'll be speaking. I'm sure Katie's going to be speaking. We've got a fantastic speaker called Jill. Knows what she's talking about. She'll talk. We're going to have half a dozen. I'm telling you. Speakers will be there. Microphones, megaphones will be there. Because what's going on is an absolute disgrace. Jodie, she's not the only one. Look at Ellie Williams right now. Just, the latest on the grooming gang one. This is, Victoria Gola in Manchester. I mean, it was a few years ago. Still had no justice. Dead. Charlene Downs, Blackpool. Groomed. Given drugs. She's dead. And Charlene Downs' body in Blackpool, 14 she was. Both of these girls were probably pre-teens when they were getting groomed. Because Charlene Downs was only 14 years old. Victoria Gola was only 15 years old. Charlene Downs' body has still never been found to this day. And you probably all read the story. If you haven't, the suspicion is she was actually put in kebab meat. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. But I hope not. I hope she's buried somewhere and we can eventually find her bones and we can give her a Christian burial. And I keep shouting her name and I wear her picture and I won't shut her because we can't just, when it goes a few years, people forget. We can't forget them. That's why I have Victoria Gola on my back. That's why I have Charlene Downs on my front. Because these are cases like Victoria Gola, 2004, I think it was. Charlene Downs, Saturday, 1st of November, 2003. A mother last seen her on Church Street in Blackpool. Told her not to be in no later than 10:30. It's what Blackpool's like, everybody. It's flashing lights and music and everyone's happy because they're on holiday. She was never seen again.
I need to get you a T-shirt done, Jim, with Liam and Christy on.
And we want to find your bones, girl, and give you a Christian burial. And we will.
They'll do 100%.
Can't forget
These girls need the justice.
They're not forgot. You can't forget. That's why I wear the pictures, because these are years ago. These people who are in nappies are not even born. You mentioned the names. I've done it many a time. And they say, who's that? I've done it in Blackpool with Charlie. Who's that? But funny enough, I was at the demonstration on Saturday, and I went in a place, and the bloke went like that. I know that face you're wearing there. said, go on then. Well, he'd seen the name, but he knew anyway. Charlene Downs, isn't it? I said, it is. He thought everything would be forgotten. I said, never forgotten. I said, thank God for that. Keep shouting for her, mate. And we won't forget her. She's not forgot. I've actually contacted Charlene Downs. I've not heard anything back yet because you don't know me from Adam. You might think I'm some sort of lunatic. Do you know what I mean? But I am going to get leaflets made actually.
We need to keep going about these kids. I've just got the last video to put up, Jimmy.
Yeah,
this one's actually the last time I saw my son. This one.
Do you like wearing my shoes? What? Do you like wearing my shoes?
Yeah. It made me look. You've not got Maxine socks on.
No. I was in a rush. I wanted to come and see you.
What?
I wanted to come and see you.
Yeah.
Can I wear your shoes then?
What?
Am I allowed to wear your shoes then if you wear mine?
They're too small.
They're not too small.
Yeah.
Mummy's got tiny feet. Oh. Okay, they're smaller than my feet. Careful! Oh! You okay? Yes, ma'am. Wait, 1, 2, 3.
I do that sometimes.
It's okay.
Yeah. Oh.
Right, lift your foot up. Lift that foot up. Better?
Yeah.
Ah, so be very, very careful. And you're putting Sherry's teddies in your shoes. Careful you don't stand on them. Very, very careful. It doesn't take long for him to fall back into bad habits, does it? That's just dealing shoes. So I'm starving, not eating all day. Starving, not eating all day.
Yeah.
That's Katie's children, everybody.
Same social services that targeted Joda.
Pardon?
The same social services that targeted Joda.
Well, we know what Daniel Milburn doing. We know. I won't say it, but we know how low they'll go. They don't mess about. They're an absolute disgrace. But they have the power. It's absolutely mental. It's rife. It's nationwide, all this. And this forced adoption is an absolute disgrace. You've just seen the 2 children there. Happy as bunnies with the mother.
That's why I always say to people, don't take my word for it. Go and see for yourself. There's videos, there's pictures out there of what I was like with my kids before care got involved, before anything, even during. You can see it all. You can see exactly what I was like as a parent. You can see exactly what they were like with me.
Yeah, it's forced adoption, the absolute disgrace. And although I don't know the full ins and outs of it, I just know it's wrong. I've seen parents, and that's why once again, I've never been through it, but I'm there supporting. That's the same with survivors. I've not been through it. I said it on Saturday. I just thank the survivors like Joe and Bobby Blair, Michael Tarriger, Alan Merritt, and we all heard Alan Merritt on Saturday, everybody. He's a survivor from a place called Beach Home. And he told his story. He couldn't carry on with the full story. He had to stop because he broke down. He broke down in tears. He couldn't cope. And you know what? He had people, grown men and grown women, I swear to God, crying. It stays with these people abused, sexually abused, physically abused, all their life. And I just thank God that people like Joe, Joe and Bobby Blair, for instance, when you look at them now, you've got to remember they were only 8, 9, 10 children. They actually went on to become British Army veterans. They joined the British Army. That's how tough these guys are. But they weren't tough enough at 8, 9. They might have been tough enough. They're not strong enough to say, get off. And the other people that were doing it are the ones in authority with all the power. They were 8, 9, 10 years, 11 years old. You know, they want to become British Army veterans, by the way. Served this country with pride. 2 great men. Unbelievable. I'm in awe of them, me. And
Oh,
that's how he got
100%.
married.
They're two very
To tell
powerful
that story.
people.
Incredible.
You
Incredible.
find it a
I
lot
just
though with
thank
a
him.
lot of them. Sorry.
Because they're not doing it for themselves. They're doing it for the children of that time and before them that just haven't got it, don't want people. Some people want it to know. I don't know if it happened to me as a man, whether I would want people to know. But thank God we got Michael Tarriger, Alan Merrick. Brian Clare's another man. He's been doing this for over 30 years, ladies and gentlemen. 30 years. Sexually abused. And has the courage to stand there. And very high-ranking bloke as well, one of the fellas. I'll let him tell you that. Very high-ranking. Well-known name. 30 years he's been doing this. You know, and without these survivors saying, I'm going to stand up, I'll go on the man's side as a man and say, I was raped multiple times and I couldn't stop it. I was a little boy. As grown men, like Michael Tarriger, everybody, this is how tough he is as a man. French Foreign Legion, he was in. Joseph and Bobby Blair, British Army veterans. These men are tough guys. Handy lads, they can handle themselves. They're tough. But you know what? Not at 8 years old, 9-year-olds, when you got 12, 13, 14 stone grown men mauling them. The scumbags. It's filthy. It needs to be shouted. And when the police and the social workers ain't doing their job, as I said on Saturday with Ellie Williams at her demo, if the police and the social services did their job protecting the children in this country, which they get paid for, taxpayers, we the only people would not have to go onto the streets demonstrating, getting cars, getting buses and coaches and trains and car shares. We wouldn't do it. They don't want to be there, but they're there because they don't believe the authorities. They don't believe them, and they say this is too important. And all you got to say in your own head is, this could be my son, my daughter, this could be my granddaughter, my grandson. And I'd want people to come out and shout. So they put the time and their money to go to these demos. As much as they don't want to be there, they shouldn't be doing something else, watching football, playing darts, or going dancing, or going to a pub with the family, or just watch it, reading a book. But they take the time in all weathers, to get out there to support the survivors and the children in this country. And as I said, if the police and the social workers did the job they get paid for with taxpayers' money, we wouldn't have to go on the street. We don't want to be there. It's just that we know what's going on. And if we sit back and don't do nothing, it'll just carry on. We even, as I read out on Saturday, Gordon Brown, the Prime Minister as was, Jackie Smith, the Home Secretary as was, in 2008, put out a memo to all the chief constables in this country and said that these young children, girls and boys, have made a valid choice of a way of life. In other words, sleeping with grown men. First of all, Mr. Prime Minister, as you was, Gordon Brown, and Jackie Smith, as you was, Home Secretary, they're under 16. Some of them are pre-teens. They ain't old enough to give no bloody permission. They cannot give any permission for any man. And you're telling the police, so what's the chief constable going to do? We've got the number one man in the country telling us we've made a valid choice, an own decision to sleep with grown men. They can't legally do it, you dick. Sorry. They can't legally do it. They're too young. As I said Saturday, if a 14, 15-year-old girl stands in front of me and says I can have sex with her, and I do, and I know she's under 16, I'm a rapist. Simple as that. I broke the law. I'm being arrested, and I'm going to jail, and deserve to go to jail because I've knowingly done it. It's wrong.
That's just for people.
He should go back on the tape and say he's so sorry. He should never have done it. He did. I don't know why he didn't realise. I'm sorry.
Well, this is why we need to get the MPs out of power, Jimmy. This is why we need to take that power away from the MPs so that stop abusing our children, because that's what they're doing. Because of the position that they're in, they're getting away with doing it. But this is why it's important. Huh?
Nobody knows the Prime Minister's country told the police to leave these kids to make a valid decision under 16, and some of them pre-teens to sleep with grown men. And he's telling the chief constables in his country, nobody knows. that the Home Secretary, Jackie Smith, was also in on it. Because she would have been in the decision, obviously, as Home Secretary. And nobody knows. It is mental. And it's illegal. They can't do it. No girl, no boy under the age of 16 can legally give permission for an adult man or an adult woman to sleep with them. Whether she says you can or not. Once you do it, knowingly knowing they're under 16, you're a rapist now. You broke the law. You've been arrested. You're going to jail. You deliberately broke the law. She's too young. He's too young. You can't touch him. It's illegal. So when Gordon Brown's put out, nobody knows about it except us patriots and us people who fight for justice for children that know about these sort of things. The rest of the country don't know. They wouldn't even believe you told them. But it's a true fact.
Well, this is the thing, though. A lot of people don't wake up to it until it affects them or a family member. A lot of people are naive to the fact, and it's a lot down to media, and it's a lot down to the fact that justice isn't being done anywhere.
Down to media, nothing's in. It's like with Elohim, nobody knows except us fighters for Jesus. Fighters for justice. Nobody knows about it. It got massive, Ellie Williams, and I'll tell you why it got big. She put pictures out. She could have wrote 10 pages. No one took no interest. What happened is she put the photographs out. This is a 19-year-old young little girl. She's a young little girl to me. I'm 60 odd. To the will, and said, "Look at them. They're beaten to a pulp. A backside is beaten to a pulp. Her legs, her thighs, her back, her ears bit, her fingers cut." Them pictures got people having a look, got their interest, and went, "This, no girl's done that to herself. She couldn't reach part of the places where she was badly injured." And that's why they came out at the beginning, big numbers. But them big numbers have got to stay up. It's got to be stay up. They know in Barrow it's going on. And Chief Superintendent Dean Oldham went on the television and he said they've done a 12-month investigation like Manchester did, and that's another story. We found no evidence of any grooming gangs in Barrow. And he's very nice and he talks lovely. He's probably a good copper. But on this occasion, mate, you lied. Now, apparently, they've talked to some of the people involved in the organising of the protests in Barrow, probably 5 or 6 of them, and they've told them in a nice room that it is going on. Well, words are cheap. We want to see actions. The first action we want to see, don't just tell 6 people. There's a chief superintendent, one of the highest ranks in the police force, got on telly and said it's not happening. He needs to go back on the telly. Don't just tell 6 people. He needs to go back on the telly, Chief Superintendent Dean Oldham, and say, a few weeks ago, I came on here and said we've done a 12-month investigation and we found no evidence to corroborate that there's any grooming gangs in Barrow-in-Furness. He needs to go on there and say, I made a mistake. I'm so sorry. We won't go moan about that, but you're telling the people who listened to you the first time, who believe you because you're such an high-ranking police officer, you need to go on the telly and retract. Then the second thing you need to do is go to the CPS and say, how can we now get this sorted to release Ellie Williams on bail until August 2021? Because they've got her locked up till August 2021 on remand for opening a gob. There's other charges. I'm not going to go into it because I'm just trying to think it. She's in for telling the truth. And don't forget, there's such thing over there. And there's something else about forced criminality. And I think a lot of that's gone on in Barrow. It's gone on around the country because they're made to do things to break the law because they're beaten to a pulp, as you've seen with Ellie Williams' body. So you've told 6 people in a nice room that it's going on. Very good. So 6 people now know it's going on in Barrow. But you've told 2 million people by going to telly that it's not going on. So you've got 6 people you've admitted to. There's 2 million now. You need to go on the TV and now retract what you said. Chief Superintendent Dean Oldham, retract what you said. And then get her out on bail. She's going to court. Fair enough. I mean, the mental state of that poor girl, she's had to come out with all that because she's had enough after getting smashed up. And then to have to be thrown into prison for 18 months, or that's what it'll be around. 18 months after opening her mouth. A mental state. She's still got around a year to go and stay in jail before she gets a trial proper. So what's her mental state going to be done? She'll be in bits. She'll be on tablets. She'll end up like Melanie Shaw.
Well, this is why it's important as well, though, Jimmy, that with everything that's going on with Jodie as well, with Jodie being literally now, just turned 16,
Yep.
it's important now more than ever that we come forward so she's not put in a position where she's going to end up like Ellie Williams, where she's going to be locked up so that the perpetrators can get away with continuing to abuse.
Well, we've just said there, she's got a roof over her head. There's plenty of us who are in the injustice that can put 2 or 3 quid a week, every week, a lot of us, that'd be more enough to pay gas, electric, rent.
It's about finding a first, Jimmy, though.
Well, hopefully, she knows she's 16 now. She knows you. She's probably got your phone number in. She knows what her score is. She knows how old she is now. We had to let her down when she was 15. That's how me personally, as a man who fights for injustice, I honestly God feel as though I let Jodie down. But I couldn't do out. It'd have been easy to destroy me. If I'd have said, gripped her hand and said, let's go, girl, I'll hide you. The odds are...
I know, Jimmy, but I mean, everyone's hands were tied to an extent as well, and everyone to different extents. It's why Joseph had to step away as well from being there to listen to the full story and to help her out. It's why we could only do so much as well. You can't
women, as ladies,
beat yourself down because of that.
Exactly. Yeah, and your hands were tied. Tied a lot, a lot more than they are now. Now she's 16. As I say, with mum's consent, she's actually legal enough now to get married. With parents' consent, she's actually legal enough to join the British Army. And I know that 99% of the time, if a 16-year-old runs away from home, they might look slightly, they won't bother. They can leave home. But because she's in care, I think she might have to prove that she's got a roof over her head and it's safe.
But to focus on the demo, because that's she's one of the reasons why we're putting it together, because there's a couple of reasons obviously why we're going to Swinton. Obviously, she's one of the reasons, and especially one of the main reasons for why we're doing this, as well as the other girl that turned up, as well as my 2 kids, as well as all the other kids. Because I mean, the amount of people I've come across, and I'm going to look at getting some leaflets sorted ahead of time for the event, because I'm going to go to contact centres and social services, and I am going to, leave some lying around for people.
Got me badge on?
The badge, yes. I'm you know what? I'm loving seeing more and more badges, more and more hoodies and everything coming around.
Yeah. Got my wife's. It's over there, ready for the 22nd of November when it's in Nottingham for the veterans, and it's for the children, by the way, everybody.
Yeah.
Forced adoptions, grooming gang awareness. It's like an awareness day to let people know about the grooming gangs, forced adoption, veterans.
I'm hoping that on the 22nd we can encourage the veterans and the community there as well to come and to join us on the 19th, because every time we show up there with a group of people, every time we show up there with other people there and not just a handful of us, we've had people turn up. Yeah. Because they've been able to see the support from across the road, which has encouraged them. Both times both girls said they were across the road watching, and they only came over because they saw the community going on. And then when people started talking, it encouraged them to come over. That's what it's about. It's not just about hitting the state. It's about being there for people.
Sorry. In case anyone doesn't believe social workers do all this, please look up Carol Woods, a level 3 social worker, where they try to make a change statements to take children into care. She's been through hell and back. We've just got that woman out of the Orchard lunatic asylum. She's not a lunatic, as I told the police when we was there. I said, if you put her at the side of me and say which one belongs to that lunatic asylum, you'd pick me 100% of the time. She's very, very intelligent. She just would not take children into care when they wasn't needed. Now, if you don't believe that social workers do it, please look up Carol Woods, who's still now being forcibly injected, by the way. Legally, she give permission because she had a choice. It was 2 choices. Let us inject you once a month at home and you're a free woman. But if you say no, see you in 6 months. And they was going to walk and leave her in the lunatic asylum. So she signed the form. So technically, she's given permission. But if they come to her house next time to do her injector and she goes, no, thank you. It's my decision. Don't want it. You bet your life within 8 weeks, Carol Woods will be lifted. To say she's had another mental breakdown, which she's never had a mental breakdown anyway. If you hear that woman talk, what a woman. What a social worker.
She's one of the first people that forced adoption people come across.
Yep, she's a real social worker. We need tons of them. Instead, they threw her out the job because she wouldn't take children into care, forced
I
adoption.
think if I remember right, you introduced me to Melanie Shaw and I introduced you to Carol Woods.
Yeah, we've been around that. Well, I was trying to find it. It was mad how it. I looked for ages, and I said if you don't get found Carol Woods, I put it out all the time. I'll just drop it as I do. I helped. What's he called? I'm not going to give his name.
Cherry Baby's just asked what the date is for Nottingham. It is the 22nd of August.
Yep, 22nd of August. I've heard Rolling Thunder are going to be there. In other words, the bikers are going to be there. Hundreds of veterans, thousands of people who fight for justice for children, forced adoption, grooming gangs awareness, people who probably, these hunter groups, people. Listen, this is going to be the biggest demonstration of the year, everybody, because they're bringing everybody together under one umbrella. And as Dean said, please do not walk around with any cans in your hand drinking, because they'll be waiting for that one photograph. One photograph is all they need with a can in your hand. They're going to label us all drunkards, far right, fascist, racist, everything. When it's finished, go to the pub and have a good drink and all enjoy yourself. But while we're there, please, because it is for the children. It's for the veterans, but it's also for children. We don't want people pointing and going, they're fighting for kids, but look at them. No wonder about the kids shaking off them. They fucking got cans of beer in their hand. They're drunks. And that's in the street, what they're doing at home. You can't do it. Can't be done, lads. We got to wait. After it, off we go. We're going to have a few beers. And then
they will try and pin anything they can on anyone they can.
They do it all the time. They do it with a great man, Tommy Robinson. They look for that man, one man with a can in his hand. It's the perfect picture. They get a fortune off the papers for it. It's an absolute disgrace. The papers never do nothing in the papers.
So I've just found the picture. Damn it, I just gone past it. The picture for the 22nd. So let me just put it up for you.
Where is it? The Mad Viking?
Yeah, it's just popped up on my feed, so I thought I'd put it up so everyone can see. So it's Saturday, 22nd of August at Nottingham Memorial Gardens, standing against and raising awareness of Veterans Affairs, persecutions and prosecutions, child grooming gangs, child exploitation, veterans mental health, PTSD, CPTSD, children's well-being and mental health. I mean, I'd love it if they could add forced adoption onto that, because that's one of the big child abuse ones where a lot of it stems from it. A lot of these girls that end up getting abused and get targeted have at some point been under local authority care, whether they've been ones that have been genuinely classed as at risk and been left to fend for themselves and left in dangerous situations, or whether they've been kids that have actually been taken from good homes and put in dangerous situations as well. So the forced adoption would be a good thing to add on to it, and I'm hoping that it'll be possible for us to stand together on that as well, because it does come under child abuse.
I'm still on.
Yeah, you're still on.
Oh right, I didn't think so. Yeah, that fella there, if I remember right, he was a Grenadier Guard. Now, two of the men, the Northern veterans, one's called Dennis Hutchins. He was 26 years served this country, more medals than a 5-star general. He's 78 years old, I believe. He's very, very ill. They keep putting off. They want him to die. I know they're waiting to die, but he's not served 26 years in the British Army for nothing. The guy's a fighter. He's not going to go anywhere till he sees justice, not just for himself, but also for the other veterans. You've got a fella called David Alden. He was a Grenadier Guard, 18 years old when something happened in Northern Ireland. He was only 18. He probably passed out and went straight over. And then they tried to get him 2 years after, if I remember right, and they dropped it all. And now he's 50 years old, David. And they're trying to ram him in jail as well. But there's not just them two. That's why we say soldiers A to Z. And that's why we sing the song. Until they get justice, that's what we say. I forgot. We are airborne till we die. We are airborne till we die. I know we are. I'm sure we are. I am airborne till I die. I'll get it better on the day, because we're all it. My son's a veteran himself, so I know what they go through. Can you imagine? My son got a medal pinned on his chest for going in a war zone, coming after him and saying, we want to put you in jail. But these lads have been waiting like 30, 40, 50 years. Dennis Hutchins, blimey, he must have been 40 odd years ago. He's 78, and they're just waiting for him to die. But the stress of it all, it'd kill you. But as I say, he's not served 26 years in the British Army for nothing. This guy ain't going to snuff it until he gets justice for himself and justice for every single Northern Ireland veteran. Dennis Hutchins going nowhere, Mr. Government. And when he got in power, this fella here, I will sort something out for the veterans. It'll all be sorted. Well, 100 days, I will do it. Flaming hell. Get your finger out, you idiot. Boris, flipping it. It's gone 100 days by a mile. You've done nothing. Nothing, lad.
Sorry, I put computer.
Great. So what we're doing, Dean, Claire, Cumberbatch. Claire is his wife. Big strength for him. You know what I mean? She's right there with her husband. Gives him a lot of strength. Keeps him intact. This demonstration, he's called it for them all. It's going to get a fantastic turnout. It's going to be it's going to be a great, great day. It is a great day for justice. A great day to show this government, the people, know you're idiots and do something about it.
I think it's coming. It's going to have to. But yeah, I mean, we need to start coming together. We need to start uniting.
Without it.
I'm hoping that on the 22nd of this month that we'll be able to actually unite and bond a bit with the other cars and the other groups, and hopefully get a load more people down to Swinton for these kids, because it's every time we're there recently that we've had new kids turning up. Every time we've done a demo, there's been more kids turning up, and
we have.
We need to be there to support them.
Jodie, look at that. It's there for we can help now because we were there doing a demo, and it's on the 19th of September. I believe, is it 12 o'clock start, Katie?
Yes. I'll put it back up on the screen.
It's Saturday.
Yes, it's the 19th of September, which is at Swinton Town Hall. Postcode's on the screen, and it'll be starting at 12 o'clock. We've not got an end date on there because obviously the longer we're there, the better. The more speakers we can get, the better. So we are going to be, pushing this as much as we can for as long as we can as well.
We'll be getting it out a lot more. Sorry. There's plenty of time. We'll start banging it out now with the 22nd in Nottingham. We start getting it out. We need to be getting on the street. We need boots on the ground to take notice of it. Peaceful. We're legally allowed to do it. We're causing no trouble. We're just it's like an awareness day. I call them awareness days now more than anything, because we don't. Well,
basically, it's basically a campaign for justice. Yeah. And even if we are just there for the kids that turn up when they do turn up, then then so what? At least we're there helping someone, whoever we can, even if it is just support them. Oh, Jimmy's jumped out. He should be back in a second. You should pop back in a minute. So I do apologise, guys. Yeah, I mean, these kids are why we need to show up. These kids are why we need to be doing what we're doing. Because if we don't do it, then who will? Yeah. Another thing that I wanted to actually bring up as well is Sarah Ran, one of our admin. She started doing weekly shows on Thursday. She's going to be starting doing another one with me on Friday. But on Thursday, she's going to be sharing with everyone the pictures of the abuse that her son's been suffering through. And I believe that she sent them all to me, and I've seen them, and it's going to haunt me for a while. But videos as well of her son's reaction to the thought of having to go back to his abuser because that's what the court's ordered. And it's hard to watch it and not shed a tear. And this is an 8-year-old boy. This is current. So I believe she's going to be going on and coming on and exposing that. Basically, what's prompted her to come and do this is we've had several messages put on her video that she did, which have been calling her all names under the sun, accusing her of all things. So she wants to put the proof out there, which the police have already got. The police have got evidence of as well. Her son also did a statement with the police. And his reaction himself to the thought of having to go back to his father who's been abusing him. So yeah, she's going to be out in that to basically put all the naysayers to to bed, really, because, yeah, she's got it all there. And to be fair, I've worked with her for long enough. I've done videos with her. I've had video chats with her when her kids have been there in the background, and she's shown nothing but love towards them. She's been nothing but a parent. And the kids
Like
have done
yourself.
nothing but show respect to her, and you can see with the way that they are with her, how she is with them.
Yeah, like yourself. You got like Jill. He's beyond my brain. I've met the two of you. I've taught you. Seen you. It's like it's unreal. It's unreal. When I see you and I see Jill, it blows my mind. I mean, it's beyond. I words I can't get them out of my gob. So I'm there supporting. I've got to do. You know, forced adoptions, grooming gang, what's happening in children's homes. That's Melanie Shaw. Oh, by the way, in case anyone don't know, I like to tell people all the stuff that Melanie Shaw's been saying, that what was going on. Nottingham admitted it last year. In the paper that last only one day. When we did the demo down there at the BBC, I actually talked to people that lived in Nottingham and told about Melanie Shaw. You know what they said? Nothing about this. I've never heard the name of Melanie Shaw. I said, we've come all the way from all around the country. She lives here. Yeah, it's the children's homes here. Went blimey. Took leaflets, everything. So there's two people that didn't know about it, did. So it was worth going to Nottingham just to wake them up. But they've admitted it. Melanie Shaw's right. And by the way, she's still not out. She's still in Rampton, high security, so-called hospital. I've had no contact with her, no letters or nothing for nearly a year now. I think they blocked me just like the Carol Wood. They stopped me getting the letters, stopped me phone calls. And they've done the same there with Melanie Shaw. But I still write. I still send cards. Do you know why? Because it lets them know we're still there. So when you write to me or anyone else, even if you don't get it, don't worry. Do you know why? They know you're there. You're not gone away. If you don't write, they'll think everyone's gone away and forgot about it. So they've got to open it. They've got to send it back. And if you don't send it back, it don't matter. They got it. They've opened it. They know we're there. And in this case, Melanie Shaw, she's got the thing, the support still behind her. It's so much of it.
I mean, we're all none of us will ever stop fighting for what we're doing.
Got long left anyway. So I'll be dead in 18 months, and that's a certain. And now I can do about it. I don't worry about it. I don't know and cry about it. Listen, I believe in Jesus. I'm going home. I mean, I've got no fear of death. I've been too close. I've had 5 heart attacks. In fact, I was dead the first one, and I dropped the cardiac arrest. No fear. Don't worry. I'm here for 18 months. I'm going to fight on to the last breath till I think I can't go on anymore. Do you know why? I'm 60 odd, and 4 years ago, I wouldn't have believed all this. That's how good at hiding it they are. This Manchester stuff with Victoria Goal on the grooming gangs, never knew anything about it. Didn't have a clue. You put it in the paper for one day. If you miss it, you're gone. It's mad. And that's his young Jodie again, everybody. I mean,
yeah, I've put it on muted. Just because obviously I want to put it out there. Obviously, if anyone can make it down to 19th, I'm hoping that Jodie's going to show up there, because it's nearly enough a year to the day since she came to us the first time.
Yep.
We were like 5 days out from the year anniversary, but you know, same month, same place, we're going to be there, and we need as many people there as we possibly can get there, because I mean, these girls need to see that they've got a support out there, that they've got people there that give a shit about where they are, about what's happening to them, about what they're going through. And, you know, having met Jodie face to face, having heard her story face to face, having seen that fucking letter D carved into her ankle, like, I'm not going to forget Jodie. I'm not going to let it go, even if we go quiet for a bit about it. It's not because nothing's being done. We just need to find out where she is.
Yeah. There is some good MPs, by the way. I'll name one, because I usually tell people. There's a fellow from the 1980s, Geoffrey Dickens MP. He stood up in the Houses of Parliament in the 1980s. And you know what he said? There's paedophilia in here. He could say what he wanted because they cover or something when they're in there. And Geoffrey Dickens MP actually stood up and told them it's going on and it's there. And guess who was at our demo on Saturday for Ellie Williams? The granddaughter of Geoffrey Dickens MP. And she's carrying on the work that her grandfather started. You know,
she's amazing. She's an amazing lass as well. I had the pleasure of meeting her as well on Saturday.
Yeah, many a time I said it. Jeffrey Dickens in the 1980s. He's an MP, as was. He stood up in the Houses of Parliament in the 1980s and told them, stood there and said, there's paedophilia here in this chambers. And that is a fact, he said it. Can't take it back. That'll be his legacy. He stood up in the House of Parliament and told them straight, because they can't take him a coat out. He's got something he's covered in. And he stood up and went, paedophiles in here. Paedophiles going on in Westminster. And that was the 1980s. 48 years later, it's probably worse. And it's well hidden, as we know, with Sir Cyril Smith MP deceased. That's the Rochdale one. Used to go to Knoll View in Cambridge House. That's just two of them, Rochdale area. And his preference was boys. He used to rape young boys. And by the way, everybody, in case you think I'm lying, no, he wasn't never charged, and no, he's never found guilty. But last year, that man was stripped of the freedom of his own city, Rochdale, because there was so much evidence against him. And there's more than just him, pal. Oh, aye, loads of them. They're very powerful. They cover each other. Sir Cyril Smith MP deceased was caught a load of times in places he shouldn't be with young boys. And Special Branch and MI5 used to tell the police to release him. And that's even before he was a Sir. And by the way, Maggie Thatcher knew that Sir Cyril Smith was on this, because MI5, obviously, when they sort of let him go, they still knew about it. And when he was going to get a knighthood, hallelujah, you're a great man again. Funny how many of these damn knighthoods and them flaming lordships, peerages as they're called. And MI5 told Maggie Thatcher, I'm not lying, I'll tell you why I'm not lying. It's in documents that was released that she was told. And for the best of my knowledge, unbelievably, there's still a picture of a load of people and Sir Cyril Smith's on it. And to the best of my knowledge, that the actual bloke who painted it said he'd paint him out, his ways of doing it, the skill. And they've refused, said it's history. It should be history, gone him. Absolutely disgraceful. Picture's still up, to the best of my knowledge, somewhere in the Houses of Parliament. Unbelievable. Mad. Yeah, stripped of the freedom of Rochdale. My mum, when I first told her about it, she said, you're an idiot. She said what 4 years ago I would have said, you're idiots, you're off your heads, you're eccentrics. Because she's met him personally. Lovely man, jolly all the time, smiling. And then I started explaining, showing her, told her about him getting stripped and all, and she was absolutely shocked. And I actually was telling people that Lord Steele, I did research on it, Lord Steele knew about this guy. And I took a big chance, mate, because he's still alive. When they're alive, you could be in big trouble. I went to the Houses of Parliament and I waited till Sky News and BBC were there interviewing MPs. And I started screaming it. Cyril Smith and Lord Steele knew. Anyway, he didn't come out at the time. 2 months later, we all know now, he sort of retired from the House of Lords, and it's out, he knew, without a doubt. But you know what? I actually believe he knew more than just Cyril Smith MP, because it's rife. I'll name you another one. Sir Clement Floyd, MP, deceased. There's another one. He's dead as well. And you know, I'll tell you something else about Sir Clement Floyd, MP, deceased, and Sir Cyril Smith, MP, deceased. They shared the same office in the Houses of Parliament. So anybody who was in there, they'd probably all been in it. So they could talk and show pictures and tell each other what they did last night and what they're doing tomorrow and where they're going next week. Yep. That's a fact. I'm glad I was right about Lord Steele, by the way, because he's alive. I could have been in big trouble. They could nip me now probably for it to say something, but he's actually out. So take me to court. I'm not bothered. I'm not, because I know I was right. I researched it.
Well, that's the thing. It needs out.
Yeah. I mean, I won't name a pop star because he's alive and I haven't got the proof. But his nickname's Kitty. Yeah, wait till he's dead. It'll come out. It always does. He'll come out, Mr. Kitty Man. But people right now love him to death. Damn good singer and all. But I can't prove it.
Great Britain's made a valid point. It's said they only ever get exposed when they're deceased, and it's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah. Can't get them, because they cover for each other. They can talk. They can say things. This is why they're worried now about that woman getting nicked in America with Epstein and all that. She's alive. But once they're dead, they sort it out. Listen, you're near dying. We've covered for you. You got any evidence? Get rid of it. And they get rid of it. Or as best they can.
100%.
But like with Siddle Smith MP deceased, it comes out with Sir Clement Floyd MP deceased. It comes out, but it's when they're dead.
I'm just hoping that with Ellie's case and with Jodie's case and all the other cases out there where people are still suffering, that it doesn't have to. Well, they get their justice before anyone dies, especially one of the perpetrators, because at the end of the day, they need to suffer the consequences for the action that they've done, and that's just standard of what should happen throughout humanity anyway.
It's like Isaac Cappy. Isaac Cappy was a whistleblower. He was an actor, and he started giving it out, telling what people would phone him in, and then they'd name a name, and he'd go, no, not a paedophile, or he'd go, yes, a paedophile, like smoking this, like doing this, and he was naming big names, and I'm showing a message to him. If I didn't, I said it to the screen. I said, get very good security, you mate. You're naming very rich and very powerful people. They'll come for you. Within 6 months, he thought he was a pigeon and jumped off a bridge.
Damn.
Suicided. He probably injected him with something, but done the minding. Yeah, you're a pigeon. Fly over that, jump off that, and you'll fly. And he probably went off, flapping his wings, thinking he's a pigeon. And dead. There he went. I knew he would. Just knew it didn't even shock me. Didn't shock me. I just went. I knew it. Suicided. Epstein suicided. Go on, sorry. I was just
going to say, we've been on for nearly 2 hours, so but before we wrap up, I do want to remind people, 19th of September, please be there. If you've not seen the beginning of this video, please go back and watch the beginning of the video. That's where you'll hear the testimony from Joda. She was 15 at the time where she made this. It did go public everywhere at the time. She just turned 16 last month, so we're pushing it around again everywhere. And she also came to Swinton Town Hall last year, September, which is why we're doing it again. I also want to let everyone know who ordered hoodies with the second batch. I have a lot of posting to do.
Blimey.
Yeah, I have a stack of everything to do. So, because I don't have transport and I am walking, I'm going to be taking a couple up each day. I do a couple of trips a day, but with my legs, it's just not possible unless I can get someone to come and help me do it. But they will be with everyone by this weekend. That is that I am personally guaranteeing, no matter how much it bloody costs to make sure you get them this weekend, they will be there this weekend. I will guarantee it. Sorry, Jimmy.
Would you be personalised like with Jimmy the Hat on the front?
Yeah, I can do it. I can do it like what I've got.
Yeah. You know, Jimmy the Hat, but with a capital H. It doesn't look good. Yeah, Jimmy the Hat on the front.
You know what I showed you that one with Jimmy the Hat?
Yeah. Size
yeah,
large. Back up.
I've got my book ready, building up the third orders. I've got to say a massive thank you to one of the ladies who follows me for my birthday present. I got this for my birthday off her, as well as this hat, which I've got on my microphone. So yeah, so I've been putting the next order down, so I can add you to that, Jimmy. That's not a problem.
Yeah, with the personalised Jimmy the Hat wrote on the front.
I will do. I'll make sure it says Jimmy the Hat in big bold on the front.
I'll get buried in that. Look nice, wouldn't I? So it's
Phil said he's going to pick his up on the 19th. That's not a problem. Yours are nicely packed as well, just like the rest upstairs. The printer did not send your hoodie. However, it is on its way already. Notice the day after he sent them, so it is being sent just separately. But it will be ready way in advance for 19th, so you'll be able to pick it up then anyway. But yeah, don't forget about the 19th of September. There is a demo going on the 31st of August as well at Preston Town Hall. Preston Town Hall at 12 o'clock, I believe, as well. I believe that's starting. And the demo on the 22nd of August as well. And I believe there's also one on the 17th of October, but that one's in Roos in Wales. So there are a couple. I'm going to work on the website as well and make sure that the event page is updated and all the events are on there. So I'll be able to start posting the events page link, so everyone will be able to catch up on the events that are going on. I talk too fast, sorry.
No, you don't. Clear as a bell. You probably just get in because I'm rabbiting, diving in. Get in now, I'm in.
Is there anything that you want to end off with, Jimmy?
Justice for Melanie Shaw. Justice for Carol Woods. Justice for Ellie Williams. Justice for the girls and the boys. Because it happens to boys too. I've just put a mate of mine on. As I said, the website's called Real Survivors Stories. Gordon Austin, a young man. It was a family friend. It's atrocious how trickery they are. How they trick their way into the family friendship. And then, like Jodie said, they're getting threatened. That's what they use all the time. This was, don't get, he's a grown man telling it, but he was a little boy when it happened. Threatened. Frightened to death he was. You just listen to his story. It's better you hear it off the man. Real Survivors Stories on Facebook. It breaks your heart. It breaks his heart and he's telling the story. But it's got to be done so that people believe it's going on. It goes on in children's homes. It goes on grooming gangs. And it goes on family friends. It's fact. Get on there. Real Survivors Stories. It's just people telling the stories. And my mate, Gordon Austin, I put it on. It's the first time, when you see it, it's the first time he's ever talked about it openly. It's the first time he come out and went, I've been raped as a little boy. And he's crying his eyes out, by the way. He'll tell you, and it is heartbreaking. But it's like Josie and Bobby Blair. What do they do every time they tell the story? And they've told it 100 times and more. They cry.
I did when I went through mine with Paul the other week. Is what we'd do.
Yep. Alan Merritt, as we seen Saturday, broke his heart. He couldn't finish his story. It broke his heart, that bad telling. But he normally can get through it all. This time he just couldn't. Just got to him too much. Broke his heart down crying. And I looked around. There were grown men and women crying. And he'd not even finished the story, but he had them already crying. When he first
talked, we need to do. We need people to hear our stories. We need people to hear like Jodie's story and like Ellie's stories and actually see what's going on for ourselves, so we can be in a position to help them.
Yeah, we won't believe it otherwise. It's too hard to believe. You go, oh yeah, but how do you know? You got to see them telling the story. In Ellie Williams' case, just look at her body, look at the pictures. That's what got the big thing when they looked at all women. She couldn't even reach parts of there. It's impossible. Fingers nearly cut off. A little 19-year-old girl, everybody, lifting up a thing and showing her breast to the world, all beaten up, bruised, punched in, her thighs, inside legs, fingers nearly cut. Could they cut off? You can showing him all it is, showing it all, face smashed.
It needs to be seen though.
How she survived it.
It needs to be seen though, Jimmy. This is the thing. This is why we needed to show.
That's why they've jumped on this Ellie thing. The police and that. That's why she's up remanded everybody. They don't want her going on social media for the next 12 months, showing more pictures, or standing there with them and explaining what they did to get this picture. This is how they did this, that. They don't want that. So as I say, they just told 6 people in a nice little room, yeah, we know it's going on. It's no good just telling 6 people. You've just told 2 million people with a top police officer that it's not going on. He needs to go and retract that story to the 2 million people so that they go, oh, blimey, it's true. But right now, they don't believe it. Right now, these people that go, there's a big top copper been on the telly. He said it's not happening. A big police officer who's a chief superintendent would go on the telly and tell lies. Last Ellie Williams, you can't. She's in jail till the end of 2021. She's gone for another year minimum. Let her out on bail. Get on the telly and retract the story. If it's not him, get another one even higher that ranked than him. Just say, make an excuse. Well, he was given the wrong to put out. We get mixed up with that many cases. We don't mind as long as you retract it. Don't just tell 6 people in a room and think that's it. Why should it be it? There's only 6 people know it's true. You need the 2 million you've just lied to. And you need a 3. Now, actions speak big more than words. And you've only put words to 6 people in a room. That means nothing, that. Because they knew anyway. just you've admitted it. Well, so what? The rest of people don't know. We need it out there now. Get it out
We
there.
do 100%, because if not, more people like Jodie are going to end up being targeted. And the thing is, like, kids are being targeted from all ages, all across the country from many different angles, which is why we need to stand together, united, shoulder to shoulder, for the children, parents to parents. None of this mum versus dad crap, none of this fucking whatever. Parents stood fighting for their kids. Future parents stood fighting for their future generation. It's what we need to see more of every day.
Yeah. They threaten them. You've seen Ellie Williams' body. She's not the only one that happens to. Do it to them all. They threaten them. So in the end, they go, I'm not going to let this happen to my mum or my sister or my brother get beat up. So they carry on. So they just carry on taking drugs. So it numbs it all and take it into adulthood. How many survivors have actually committed suicide? We don't know, because we don't even know about them, because they keep quiet, because of these guys threaten them. They're nasty people, as I say. That's why they're nice watches, nice cars, nice houses, nice businesses, nice holidays. They're making nearly 600 quid a week, I would think, minimum on these kids. With Ellie Williams, we got her eventually after 7 weeks, which she stayed away because all this corona kept her in the house and that. When they did get her, they put her in a car, took her to an house. She had sex with 3 Asian men, and then they told her, "You're in debt to us, girl." And that's when they started smashing her up. To say, "You don't ever stay away from us again. You're losing us good money. We need a new watch, a Rolex." So they smashed her up, and they smashed her up. And that's what, well, she's 19 now, but she was a schoolgirl when it happened, without a doubt. So she's had enough of this. Is never going to end. I can't take much more of this. And she spoke out. I believe it was the 19th of May she spoke out. On the 20th of May, she'd gone. Zoof, disappeared. They turned into the next Melanie Shaw.
Well, Jimmy, to wrap up, if someone asks, if you were telling someone about the 19th of September and about why it's important to come together, why it's important to be there, what's your answer be?
The answer is to make people aware that this is really going on. As we say, we got Jodie coming out with her story. If anyone's, should be going through it and see this, they'll know where we are, and they could come and talk to one of the ladies. To let people who walk past it and don't even believe it sometimes. Well, many people walk past and we talk to them and explain. If we don't know enough about it, we'll just put them to one of the girls that do know and explain what's going on. So it is good. And it lets the social services know. I'm not going to go in with Daniel Melbourne again, but you got characters like him in power. Hey, he hasn't got the power. He's a low level. He's come higher up. He's higher up. They tell him to do something. He jumps like a kangaroo. Bang, bang. He'll do anything. Don't lose his dollars. Don't care. It's like when Melanie Shaw, what did she say? Who knew? Doctors knew. Teachers knew. GPs knew. The people in the gold didn't only know. Yeah. They were raping them. I'm going to have to go. I've got a call from someone I'm helping.
No worries. Well, thank you, Jimmy, for joining us. You're an absolute legend.
Amen. And I'll see you all. Keep fighting, everybody.
Take care, Jimmy. And thank you, everybody, for joining us as well. If you've not already liked, shared, and subscribed, make sure you go ahead and do that. And if you've not seen the beginning of this video, please go back and check it, because you need to hear Jodie's story for yourself. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Take care.